Welcome back to my channel. Today we talk about topic that touches each of us. The nature of suffering in our lives. As we explore the first noble truth, we'll reflect on the realities of human existence and the challenges we all face. From the pains of loss to the struggles of daily life, this discussion aims to shed light on how we can navigate these experiences with greater awareness and understanding. So, grab a seat and join us on this journey of insight and reflection. Known as dukkha, tells us that human existence is filled with pain and challenges. If you take a moment to reflect, you might realize just how true this is. Suffering arises from our own actions, through our body, speech, and mind. It comes from the actions of others and their words, as well as from the loss of material possessions and loved ones. We suffer from unfulfilled desires, illness, misfortune, death, separation, and more. There are countless forms of suffering in human life, far too many to fully enumerate. Anyone who claims that life is purely happiness and joy must be unaware of reality. So, if you've ever felt that life is just about happiness and joy, let's take a closer look together. Join us as we explore these truths and uncover ways to find meaning even amid the struggles. Today, I'm not diving into the theory of suffering in Buddhism. If you want to know more, you can Google it. Instead, I'm here to chat about the kinds of suffering I see around me and the thoughts that pop up in my head. Think about it for a second. When you reflect on your past experiences, do you notice a common thread of suffering weaving through them? I mean, it's like the universe's worst knitting project. Whether it's heartbreak or job struggles, suffering seems to have a way of sneaking into our lives. So, let's take a light-hearted stroll down memory lane and see how much of it is tied to those oh-so-unpleasant moments. Who knows? Maybe we'll find that the real lesson is to laugh at the absurdity of it all. The Buddha teaches us, what is the purpose of recognizing suffering in life? Within the hardships of life, there are numerous temptations and desires that strongly attract us, making it easy for people to become attached. And it leads to habits and actions that can result in greater suffering. The more we fall into these habits, the more we face pain and despair. Therefore, the Buddha emphasizes that acknowledging life's suffering is meant to guide us away from these enticing traps. It's not about sitting idly and lamenting our fate. Rather, it's these very temptations that can lead us to the depths of suffering. Life presents inherent suffering from the moment we are born, yet many do not recognize this and instead chase after fame, fortune, and material goods. They are unaware that they are pursuing happiness in a state of suffering. Thus, as they become more engrossed in chasing elusive dreams of happiness, their suffering only deepens. I'm currently single for a bunch of reasons, but one of the biggest is my deep respect for mothers and the incredible pain they endure during pregnancy. Seriously, I have so much admiration for those women, but I know deep down that I could never go through it myself. Let me tell you why. When I was about 18, I went with my mom to visit my aunt because my cousin was about to be born. It was a typical family gathering, everyone was chatting away. As I sat there, I felt a sense of calm, everybody sharing stories and just enjoying each other's company. And suddenly, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I had made a serious mistake about how babies come into the world. You see, I suddenly realized that babies are born from the front of the mother's body, not the back. I mean, you know what I mean, right? Well, how could I have not known that? It sounds absurd now, but in that moment, I felt a wave of shock wash over me. I couldn't even remember if my teachers had covered that in class, but I had clearly blanked on it. I couldn't help but share this revelation with some friends later on, expecting a laugh, but they looked at me as if I had just declared that the sky was green. Wait, you didn't know that? That's basic stuff. Talk about a moment of pure shock. In that instant, I felt a wave of sympathy wash over me for mothers everywhere. If a baby comes into the world that way, I can only imagine the pain involved in that process. It made me appreciate how mothers around the world sacrifice and love so deeply to go through such an experience. I vividly remember my cousin, who had been pregnant at the time, complaining about constant pain and exhaustion. She would share her experiences of nausea, fatigue, and the general discomfort that comes with carrying another life inside her. It struck me then that this suffering isn't just for the mothers. It's for the babies too. It's like the mother's belly is a tiny prison, and the baby is stuck in this cramped little cage. From the moment of conception, even before birth, we're already facing challenges and discomfort. So here I am, still single, but I never thought about it that way before, and it really changed my perspective on life, motherhood, and the sacrifices involved. It's not just about the joy of a new life. It's about the journey of pain and sacrifice that comes with it. It's a heavy but eye-opening realization. When I see children, I can't help but notice that, despite their innocence, they're dealing with some serious struggles. Think about it. When they're hungry or tired, they unleash a scream that could wake the neighbors. They're unable to express their feelings in words, so they just cry like it's their job, leaving them to just endure the discomfort. It's heart-wrenching, really. Take the moment when they start learning to walk. It's an adorable sight, right? Watching a toddler take their first steps is like watching a baby giraffe trying to ice skate. They wobble around, full of confidence, and then, whoops, down they go. Their faces go from excitement to shock in a split second. You can almost hear them thinking, "Why did gravity betray me?" And then they just sit there, crying like they just lost a championship game. They can't tell us how much it hurts or how scared they feel. They just have to deal with it. It's like they're in this tiny world of big feelings but have no words to describe them. And let's not forget about when they're sick. Picture a child lying in bed, feeling miserable, unable to articulate the ache in their tummy or the pounding in their head. They look to their parents for comfort, but all they can do is whimper. It's tough being a kid. So, when I reflect on this, I realize that even the most innocent among us experience suffering. It's a reminder that pain isn't just reserved for adults. It's part of the human experience from the very beginning. As kids grow up, school becomes a whole new ballgame. Remember those days. You walk into a classroom and suddenly, you feel like a lone island in a sea of giggling friends. You crave companionship, but it seems like everyone else has already formed their little cliques. It's like being the last piece of puzzle, desperately trying to fit in. Then you finally make some friends and you think, yes, I'm part of the crew. And what happens? Oh girl. Sometimes you start having epic battles over the most ridiculous stuff. I mean, who knew that debating whether chocolate or vanilla ice cream is better could lead to World War III among your buddies? You start getting into silly arguments over the smallest things, like who gets to sit in the front of the bus or who likes what snack more. But if you find yourself hanging out with toxic friends, things can take a turn for the worse. Suddenly, you're wrapped up in drama and negativity, like a burrito you didn't order. And let's not even start on school pressure. Sweet teenage angst. Suddenly, the race for grades can become more important than oxygen. You're studying late into the night, wondering if you'll ever survive the dreaded math test. And if you thought that was tough, welcome to the working world. Then you graduate only to jump straight into the corporate jungle. Work brings its own set of challenges. Bosses who seem like they've never seen the sun, co-workers who turn meetings into a dramatic play. It's like being in a live-action soap opera, and deadlines that loom like storm clouds. And just when you think you've figured life out, you take the plunge into adulthood, maybe even get married. Now, here's the kicker. No relationship is without its bumpy moments. You might find yourself arguing over who left the milk out, or whose turn it is to take the trash out. Seriously, if I had $1 for every time I heard, "I thought you said you'd do it," I could probably retire early and move to a beach somewhere. And if love falls apart, that heartache is a whole different level of suffering. It's like going through a breakup while trying to watch your favorite sad movie. Just too much to handle. So, as we navigate this crazy roller coaster called life, from the playground to the boardroom, and possibly into a relationship or two. We all face a mountain of challenges. Each chapter brings new challenges, from feeling lonely in a classroom to dealing with toxic friendships, academic pressures, and adult responsibilities. Life may throw curveballs, but it's all part of the crazy adventure. Remember, we're all in this together, feeling a little lost, a little bruised, but still pushing through. And who knows? Maybe we'll find joy in the messiness along the way. Let's chat about our desires for a moment. You know that feeling when you spot something you want. Feel like when you want something so badly that it's like an itch you just can't scratch. Maybe it's the latest smartphone or the latest gadget, money, or maybe just the perfect slice of pizza. It's like we get on this crazy treadmill of life, running our hearts out just to keep up with our dreams. So whatever it is, we dive in headfirst, right? We're working overtime, skipping lunches, and obsessively checking our bank accounts like a cat watching a laser pointer. Just one more project. We chant like it's a magic spell, convinced that if we just work a little harder, we'll finally snag that promotion, that dream job, or let's be real, the perfect slice of pizza we've been fantasizing about. Suddenly, we find ourselves wrapped up in this whirlwind of money, success, and love and want to get more. We do everything just for getting a taste of what we think we want. But wait, let's not forget, life has its own set of twists and turns. No matter how hard we try to control everything and chase our desires, we're all going to face aging, sickness, and eventually, yep, you guessed it, death. It's like that unwelcome party crasher that nobody invited. The physical and mental toll can be overwhelming. The inseparable duo in our journey through life. It often feels like life is playing a cruel joke, handing us a free membership card to the club of suffering. You think you're invincible, but just one little cold can make you feel like you've been hit by a truck. When you're young, everything seems simple. But as you age, those creaky noises from your body start to sound like the soundtrack of a horror movie. Back pain, knee pain, stomach aches, they can make you feel like life is mocking you. What did you do to deserve this pain? Life seems to ask. Getting older is like signing up for a never-ending game of, what's that pain? One minute you're sprinting toward your dreams, and the next, you're Googling why your knee sounds like a bag of chips. And then, when death comes knocking, you feel like you're being entered into a contest no one wants to join. I haven't lived my life to the fullest yet. You cry out, while the truth is you've lived enough to know that suffering is an unavoidable part of it all. But no matter what, finding a way to laugh through the tears is key, because a smile is the best medicine for the struggles we face. So here we are, trying to juggle our aspirations while also dealing with the inevitable realities of life. It can feel exhausting, like running a marathon with no finish line in sight. But isn't that the beauty of it? Amidst all the chaos and the challenges, there's still room for laughter, connection, and the occasional slice of that perfect pizza. Let's embrace the messiness, because at the end of the day, it's all part of this wild ride we call life. As we wrap things up on our journey through life's ups and downs, remember this. Recognizing that suffering is part of the deal is the first step to dealing with it. Life can be a bit of a roller coaster. Sometimes you're up or upside down with your hands in the air. But it's how we handle those twists and turns that really counts. So let's embrace the lessons from our not-so-fun moments and turn them into fuel for growth. Thanks for hanging out with me, and may you find some peace and understanding in the chaos of life. Until next time.